Welcome to our humble abode. We are here trying to make a mock Seder night, and hopefully we will go over many of the procedures that we follow on this holy night. Obviously, the night of Pesach is a very important night for all of us. It's a night where we give over our tradition, our belief to the next generation. And there are certain laws and traditions to be followed on this Pesach night. One of the things that the Torah writes that we need to eat on the night of Pesach is maror. And maror means bitter herbs. And we Sephardim, we use romaine lettuce for bitter herbs. So there's two things. We have to have chazeret. Chazeret is lettuce. And we have to have maror. And for maror, there is a variety, as we said, of bitter herbs that could be used. However, the custom by the Sephardim is that we use romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce, you might say it is sweet, but it has an aftertaste which is bitter, and that is why we use it. There are other reasons why we use it. We'll leave that for another time maybe. However, we have to be very extra careful with the romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce contains bugs that are the same color as the green leaves, and it's incredibly hard to discern between the bugs and the leaves. So therefore, it would be a mission impossible, basically, to clean it up as much as you can. So the best way to do it, actually, is to hold it under running water and to rub each and every single leaf harshly in order to get it totally clean and make sure that it's bug-free. Also, you have to hold it against a light, sunlight or a strong light, to be able to tell if there is any of insects and bugs that are still in it. Again, the best thing to do would be to take off the green leaves. The white section in the middle would be a lot easier to check for insects, that it would be prohibited from the Torah to eat insects. We are trying to do a good deed, to do a mitzvah by eating the maror here, but at the same time we do not want to have the responsibility of having to eat insects. So as we said, on the plate we need to have maror and we need to have chazeret. These are the two things, and we do, Sephardim, we do use romaine lettuce for the both of them. Also, we need to prepare charoset. Charoset is usually comprised of apples, walnuts. People put bananas, pomegranates, wine, vinegar, cinnamon. That's the basic recipe. You know, different cities have different traditions on how to make charoset. One of the major things that we need to prepare is obviously the wine. The wine, we're going to drink 4 cups of the wine during this night, and obviously our matzah. The matzah that we use is going to be round shemura matzah. What is shemura matzah? Shemura matzah means that it was, the wheat kernels were guarded throughout, and then at the time of the harvest, that they should not come in contact with any water, because we were afraid once they would come in contact with water, they would not maintain its integrity as a wheat kernel that is not chametz. For the night of Passover, we do use hand shemura matzah, meaning that it was made by hand. The whole process was done by hand, from the grinding, from the baking, and from the kneading, and so on and so forth. It's a special care, and this is what everyone uses on the night of Pesach. For the Seder plate, we need 3 of them, and there's a special order on how to set it up. First, we have the 3 matzot here. You have the wing here. You will have the egg, celery, and in the middle you have what is called the chazeret, the lettuce, and then that's the maror. Here you have the charoset. So this is a special Kabbalistic way of setting up your Seder night. think we got a lot of the preparations out of the way, and now we shall commence to the Seder night. The first thing that we do on the night of Pesach is to make Kiddush. And the Kiddush is basically a regular holiday Kiddush where we use wine and make Kiddush for the holiday. It would be best, Kabbalistically, to use a few drops of water added to our wine here. If a person could do that, that would be best. And then the best thing to do is you stand for Kiddush. A person should try to drink about 3 ounces of wine each time that we drink wine. Another rule to remember is that we try to, a person pours for another person so that he'll feel special, he'll feel like someone else is serving him. Something to remember, every time that we drink the wine, we lean on our left side. Very important to remember that we lean on our left side. I will demonstrate that when we get to it. So here is the Kiddush section of our Seder night. So first we say the Pasukim in the Torah where they deal with our holidays. Ele Moadei Hashem. מקראי קודש אשר תקראו אותם המאדם, וידבר משה את מועדי השם בבני ישראל, סברי מרנן. Then we say, Baruch, אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. And then we follow that with the blessing, which is actually the sanctification of the holiday. Baruch אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל עם. And then we go through that, which ends up with מקדש ישראל והזמנים. And then on both nights of Seder, we make שהחיינו. ברוך אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Then everyone will sit, and I think it would be best that you prepare your chair from before, either with a pillow or if you have a chair with an armrest or whatever you can do, because this is what we need to do. Leaning on our back is not considered leaning on the left. A person could lean on the table or on the side of a chair, or to turn the chair and lean. The point is, leaning was the way that the princes would eat and drink, and this is what we're trying to convey, that this is the night of our freedom, and this is the night that we feel like prince. The rule of thumb is, this is the tough part, that if you forget to lean on your left side, you might have to drink another cup of wine. So prepare in advance, everyone remind each other, and right away, I'm just talking, but right away, as soon as you make Kiddush and you're still holding on to the cup, do drink your cup of wine. And just a note, if a person has a rough time drinking wine, some ladies have a rough time drinking wine, or some youngsters have or elder people have a rough time drinking wine, grape juice could be used. However, the best thing to use would be wine. The next step after Kadesh would be Urchatz. So by Urchatz, we wash our hands, we do Netilat Yadayim, however, no Beracha. The Netilat Yadayim would be the regular Netilat Yadayim that we do for bread. And this is how it goes. You pour the water all over your hand up to your wrist. You rub them such. So what I did was I poured 3 times on the right hand first, and then I poured 3 times on the left hand, and then normally I wouldn't be able to talk, and I would have to make a blessing right away and dry my hands. In this case, all I do is just dry my hands. We are doing this thing, and the children, who are the centerpiece of the Seder night, we are trying to arouse their curiosity, that they should ask questions. Why are we doing this? How come? What's happening? What is going on? So when they ask questions and you answer them, you educate them, you give over our heritage to them. This is the whole purpose of the night of Pesach. And you find in the Torah every time it's mentioned when your child asks you, or when you need to explain this to your child. And this is exactly what is going on here, what's taking place. So after we wash our hands, we move over to karpas. Karpas means celery. In Farsi, karafs is celery. And this is the time that we take a piece of celery. The piece of celery should not be more than an ounce, it should be a small piece. And we take it and we dip it into either vinegar or water that's got salt in it, salt water, and we dip it in there. So this piece is probably less than an ounce, and you just dip it in, and that should be good. We try to sit down, and you don't have to lean on your left side for this. If you'd like, you could. Make a Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei peri adama, and you eat it. However, in this, we have to also have in mind that borei peri adama that we're making on the celery is also going on the romaine lettuce that we're going to have later on.
Children of Egypt perform tricks like this. What are you trying to prove?
The next part of our Seder is called yachatz. Yachatz means to break off, to divide up. What does that mean? It goes like this. We have, as we mentioned, 3 matzot, okay? 2 of these matzot are for the regular hamotzi that we make, even on every Shabbat, regular Shabbat, we usually use 2 breads, 2 whole breads, and hence we have 2 breads. Now the 3rd matzah is like this. For yachatz, we take the middle matzah, like this, and we break it. We try to make one piece bigger than the other, like this. Yeah, not bad. Good job. And what you do is you save the bigger one for afikoman. What do you do with it? You give it to one of the children, or you just put it aside. You wrap it in a cloth, or if there's a bag, you wrap it in there and you set it aside for after the meal. At the end of the meal, you will have this matzah. This other matzah, this little broken piece of matzah, is to stick under between your matzot again, and the idea is that you want to show that our forefathers in Egypt, they had lechem oni. Lechem oni means the bread of poverty. They were poor, they were downtrodden, they were oppressed, and they were not even given a full loaf of bread. They were given small part of bread, and that's lechem oni, the bread of poverty. After yachatz, it comes the major part of the Seder, which is called Magid. Magid means to say over. The Torah tells us, you have to tell over your child on that day. And how do we do this? We have to first encourage them to ask questions. And doing that starts off with ha-lachma anya. First, we have to announce that this is the bread of poverty. This broken piece of matzah is a bread of poverty that our forefathers ate in Egypt. This is an announcement that we make. And then, by the way, every time you don't have a cup or you're not holding a cup, your matzah should be uncovered. You just leave it uncovered so that people, the children and everyone around should be able to look at the matzah. Every time you want to hold a cup, what do? You just cover your matzah. So now is the time that we say Manishtana. Manishtana is basically 4 questions that our children ask. Or if there's no children, anyone could ask these questions. The questions is, how is tonight different than every other night? We are doing certain strange things. We're dipping things into vinegar. We're dipping things into the charoset, and we're eating matzah. We're not eating bread, and we are leaning, and we never do these things. And also we are eating only bitter herbs. So there are 4 different types of questions. We say Manishtana, then we start trying to giving an answer to these questions. The answer to these questions starts with an introduction of how we were enslaved in Egypt by Pharaoh, and then we say Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God took us out of Egypt, and even if we know everything, we still have an obligation to speak about and to tell over the story of what occurred at the Exodus. It is suggested, if anyone could and everyone should, prepare yourself from before Pesach in the understanding of the Haggadah, in the understanding of its meaning, and in the understanding of the commentaries on the Haggadah. When you come into the Seder night, it is a lot more pleasant when you are prepared, you know what you're talking about, everyone is going to say, whoa, this guy knows what he's saying, and besides, you are going to feel much better when you understand what it is that you're doing. So we read the Haggadah. Our custom, us Persians, there is a few sections in the reading of the Haggadah where we lift our cup. One is we say Vehi she'amda, that means Hashem stood on our side. So then at that point in time we cover the matzah, we hold the cup of wine, and we say Vehi she'amda la'avotenu velanu. There's a sentence that we read, we put it back down after we're done with that sentence, and then we again uncover the matzah, and then we move on to explain all those verses that the Haggadah brings down. Once we're done with that, we're going to say the 10 plagues that God did. The custom is that every time you mention any of the plagues, you just drop a drop of your wine into a plate. So you say like dam, tzefardea, kinim. So every time you do that, you just drop a little drop of wine as a resemblance of how God did what He did to the Egyptians. We pour the drops of wine by the 10 plagues, and also by there are 3 words. One is it's the dam, va'esh, v'timrot ashan. We drop the wine a little bit, and then when we mention dam, tzefardea, the blood, all the 10 plagues that they were brought to the Egyptians, and then again when it says the tzach adash ba'achav, altogether it adds up to 16 times that we drop the wine, and that is what we do. After that, we start mentioning how grateful we are to God, and us Persians, thank God, we have a custom of dayenu, where we take scallions, belts, or any weapon that comes at your disposal, and we start hitting each other. No, I'm just joking. Actually, we do use scallions, and it's a great way of waking up the children, waking up everybody else to get into the action and to become more relaxed as the Seder goes on. But we do need to remember that this night is a very extremely holy night, and we are doing something really special, and we should, everyone should, men, women, children, everyone should really read the Haggadah. Even if you read it in English, it is good, it is recommended. Please do sit down and read as much of the Haggadah as you can. That would be great. there is three things that we need to mention on the night of Pesach. The word is Pesach. Pesach is referring to the offering that they would bring at the time that we had the Beit HaMikdash. And that is called Korban Pesach, the offering of Pesach. So we need to remember that. As a remembrance of that, we have the wing of the chicken, which is roasted, just as a remembrance. So we don't usually point at it, but we just look at it when we mention the word Pesach as the Haggadah goes on. And then there is matzah. So what we do is we hold on to the matzah, we say matzah, and then we say maror. We either hold on to it or we point at it, we say maror. So there are three things: Pesach, matzah, and maror. These are the words that we mention, and by the matzah and the maror, we point at it. After mentioning the words of Pesach, Matzah, and Maror, we explain what each one is for. The Pesach, we explain it means the Korban Pesach. The Matzah, we explain that we eat it because Hashem told us to eat Matzah on this night. And the Maror, when we show it and we say that Maror, why do we eat it? Because they made our lives bitter on this night. Hence, God commanded us to eat these things that we eat on Pesach. After this, we start with Hallel. Hallel is praising Hashem. These are verses, chapters from Psalms that we read, usually on Rosh Chodesh, usually on any holiday. Night of Pesach is so special that we say it twice. We say it before in the prayers, and now we say it during the Haggadah reading. And here, we only start with the first two chapters, and we say them. After that, there is a blessing that we make. This pretty much ends off the Haggadah portion. We say Baruch Atah Hashem, Ga'al Yisrael, and don't forget, we Sephardim, we only make a beracha on the first cup and the third cup. This second cup, we do not make a beracha of Borei Peri HaGefen. All we do is make sure we lean on our right hand side and we drink this cup. L'chaim. So we're coming to the close of the Magid portion, which we said is the major portion of the Haggadah. However, please remember, this is an instructional little video, and it surely will not cover even a portion of trying to explain the expanse of what should really be going on. A lot of people stay up actually all night talking about the Exodus, talking about the miracles, talking about what took place in Egypt, and it's very important. The more a person understands, the more a person educates himself or herself regarding this matter is much better. There's a lot of topics that could be discussed on this night. For example, the staff of Moshe. Where did it come from? What was the origin of that staff? Who was the first one who had it? A lot of people say that it was from Adam, and it was passed down generation to generation until it got to Moshe Rabbeinu. So that's something to look into, and there's a lot of different books that you will have the links for these books to look into the story of Pesach, the story and the commentaries on the Haggadah. They're extremely interesting, together with stories, real life stories that occurred throughout generations, and these are things that will spice up the night of Pesach and get us more and more involved in our rich heritage. In the Holy Zohar it says that God sends His angels to come and watch how Go and watch how my children are saying my praise on this night, the night of Passover, how I saved them, how I brought them out with all the miracles that I did, and I made them into my nation. I want you, the angels, to go and watch. So could you imagine you're sitting around the table, all the angels are watching you, how you're excited about the story of Passover, how you're giving it over to your children, and this is what it's about. I know everyone is gathered with the family and trying to have a good time and so on and so forth. However, this night is a night of giving over our extremely rich heritage, our past, and to learn a lesson from it and to give it over to our generations after us so they will be able to carry the torch just like we have carried it. We should give it over to them that they will be able to do the same. So we got to bear in mind all of that, and it's a huge responsibility on every single one of our shoulders. Well, after Magid, we have reached the portion of Rochza, where we wash our hands 3 times on the right hand side, 3 times on the left hand side, again like before. This time, however, we do not talk, we make a blessing, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu v'yosda v'sivanu al netilat yadayim. Then we dry our hands without talking. We wait to make the beracha of hamotzi. We reached motzi matzah. Now, what is motzi matzah? Motzi matzah means motzi, that means the beracha of hamotzi. Matzah is the mitzvah of eating the matzah. Many people make a mistake. They make a special beracha on the matzah every time they eat matzah. It's not so. The only time that we have a commandment, we have a mitzvah to eat matzah is at the night of Pesach. That means the first night and the second night of Pesach outside of Israel. And this is exactly what we do now. So we're going to make hamotzi on the matzah, okay? And just follow me how I do it. First we say Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. This is the beracha that you will be making for the rest of Passover. Every time you want to eat matzah, you make a hamotzi lechem min haaretz, because this is now our bread. And then after you make that beracha, you wait. What you do is you drop the bottom matzah like this, and what you're left with is this small little piece of matzah and this top matzah. And then you say, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'sivanu al achilat matzah. About the eating of the matzah, tonight we have a commandment of eating matzah. The rest of Pesach, we don't have a commandment of eating matzah. If you would like to eat matzah, well, that is your bread and you will make a hamotzi on it. But at this point in time, this is the commandment, the mitzvah that we have. Then what you do is you take one piece of the top and one piece of the small and you eat it. Here is an important note that we have to pay attention to. Whenever there is a mitzvah of eating means there is a special measurement of eating. And on this night, everything is measured, everything is nice and cool. On a regular, well, I'm sure by now you've noticed these aren't matzah, this is just lavash bread, which is toasted. We didn't want to fool anyone. It's a mock Seder night. And you take one of those round matzot. Usually a little bit less than a third of these matzot are sufficient for eating. So you just take that and make sure to lean, and you lean and you eat that, and you're good to go. You have done the mitzvah of motzi matzah. Well, now we have reached the part of maror. Maror means the bitter herb, and we use the romaine lettuce. We take the romaine lettuce, the checked romaine lettuce, and we dip it into our charoset like this. You don't have to take too much. You shouldn't take too much charoset because you need to taste the bitterness of the bitter herb. of our romaine lettuce. And then we sit down and we make a beracha. The beracha is Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. We do not lean for the eating of this maror, and we eat it. Now we are left with korech. Korech means making a sandwich. What we do in this one, we take part of this. Every person around the table takes a part. It has to be, again, probably around a third of the matzah. A little bit less would be okay, but pretty much this much. And you break it off. You give it to everyone from the bottom matzah that we have dropped at the time of motzi matzah. We left it down here, so we take that. We give it to every person on the table, and then you take that together with the lettuce. You make a sandwich out of it. You could dip it in the charoset as much as you like. You could actually take more charoset this time, and then you lean as you eat it. So I would suggest, usually in this case, because it's going to be messy, to hold a plate under your hand. That would make life a lot more easier. So again, you take the matzah and you wrap it with the lettuce, and you eat it. We don't make a beracha on this one. We have already made a blessing on the maror. We have already made a blessing on the matzah. All you do is dip it into the charoset and you eat it. Now we come to Shulchan Orech. Shulchan Orech means you set your table and you have a festive meal. It is a mitzvah to have, don't forget, it's Pesach and it's a holiday. You have to have a festive meal, enjoy the meal. However, keep in mind, please, not to eat too much to be full, because we still have a little bit more matzah to eat. However, enjoy the meal, have fun, and it's a holiday. A lot of cities, they have a custom that towards the end of the meal they eat the egg that we had. The egg is a remembrance of the offering that we had used to bring into the Beit HaMikdash, and different places have different customs of how to eat the egg. So please follow your custom and enjoy the egg. After the egg, we do go and bring the portion which is in the seder is called safun. Safun means it was hidden. If you remember, when we broke the matzah, we hid the larger portion of the broken matzah. It is a safe place. Now I'm going to go fetch it.
God will send you as much as you need every day. No more and no less.
Well, we found the matzah of Afikoman. It's called that. This is the tzafun. Again, what you do is you got to divide it up between the people present on the table, and everyone gets a portion of it. And if you need to add more for people to be able to have, again, 1/3 of these round matzot. So altogether, you're going to be eating 3 of these third of matzot. That's it, no more. 1/3 at the time of motzi matzah, 1/3 at the time of korech when you make a sandwich, and 1/3 at this portion of the meal. By the way, a tip: if you do toast the matzah, you just put it over fire or something, or just toast it, make it nice and dry and good. It'll be much more delicious, much easier to eat and enjoy it. If someone really has a hard time, you could even wet it with water, so it'll be easier to swallow. You won't get any cuts in your mouth. Well, now we are at the section of barech, right? We had Shulchan Aruch, Tzafun, and now we have barech. Barech means birkat hamazon, grace after the meal. Grace after the meal is said over a cup of wine, which we have already poured, and now we are ready to commence. What we do is we hold on to our cup and we read the berachot, the blessings of after the grace after the meal, which consists of 4 blessings, and then there are certain prayers that we read. After we are done with that, we do make a beracha of Borei Peri HaGefen. Make sure to lean on your left-hand side and drink the cup of wine or grape juice that you're drinking. By the way, a side note, when you're reading Birkat Hamazon, it is extremely important to try to understand what you're reading, because Birkat Hamazon is a grace after the meal, meaning you're thanking Hashem, you're blessing Hashem for giving us all the good things, all the blessings, everything that we have, and giving us our food in abundance, and it's a blessing that we should really cherish and thank Hashem. If you do not understand Hebrew, you could read it in English, you could read it in Farsi, any language that you're comfortable with. Try to understand it. And this is the best night to do it. Again, night of Passover, giving over our heritage. As soon as we were done with the third cup, we have poured the fourth cup. This is the fourth cup ready to go. And now comes the last portion of the Haggadah, which is called Hallel. If you remember, before we started the whole meal, we said a little bit of the Hallel. Now this is the continuation. This is where we continue reciting the Hallel, and we move on. We try to sing the Hallel as much as we can. Again, try to understand the meaning of what we're saying. And usually it would be recommended to hold on to the cup as you're reciting the Hallel. And it goes on until pretty much the end of the Haggadah, where we say there are portions that we recite on Shabbat morning in the prayers, or different portions. At the end, we make a blessing on the thanking and the appreciation that we have to God for all the miracles that He did for us. And then finally we drink the fourth cup of wine. Remember again to lean. So it comes out. Every time you drink wine, or every time you eat matzah, you will lean on your left hand side, and Be'ezrat Hashem, this should be the things that we're doing, we should try to do it properly and right, and enjoy, and do it with joy and happiness as you're doing it, and Hashem should accept it as it should be.